everybody. Coach Allison back, and I hope you enjoyed Mobility Week last week. And we are back at it this week with a more standard um, type of routine. So we're in week 21 for Defy Aging, and this week we have two circuits performed simultaneously. If you have a large enough group, might just do one at a time if you have a smaller session happening. And each circuit has 4 exercises, and they're going to be timed with a same rest time for all three. There's going to be 3 rounds. Same rest time, 30-second rest, but your work time is going to reduce with each round. So round 1 is 40 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest. Round 2 is 30 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest. Excuse me. And round 3 is 20 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest. So that third round is going to move pretty quickly with that 20-second work time. All right, let's review our 8 exercises. Because again, and I'm not sure if I already said this, there's 4 exercises in each circuit. Let's do a little demonstration. The first exercise in station 1, or the first station in circuit 1, is going to be a wall sit, which we do relatively often. However, we're going to add something to it this week. We're going to add a goblet hold. And of course, this is optional. It is a progression. But I recommend going moderate with the weight. So maybe a little bit lighter than you might hold if we're doing a traditional goblet squat, just because it's a little tricksy to get in and out of the wall sit with the weight. So you want to grab your kettlebell, holding it bottoms up, I don't know why. Grab your kettlebell first, lean into the wall, and then slowly start to sink into your wall sit. There you go. And we're just going to hold this at the chest while we hold our wall sit. Want to make sure you're not resting it physically against your body. Don't let it start to come down on your lap. Don't let it rest against your stomach. So make sure you're holding it that inch or two out away from your actual body. So we are engaging the shoulders and the arm muscles as well. Make sure you're not leaning forward away from the wall. You want that 90-degree bend in your knee if you can. If you come up a little bit to make the wall sit a little lighter, that's okay. You can work towards getting a little bit lower. And you really want to make sure, though, I'm putting this down so I can show you, that your feet are directly under your ankles. I have the camera a little high. And that's a knee safety thing. You don't want your feet to be like way back here behind your knees. So be very conscious of that. So that is our wall sit with the goblet hold. Something new, let's give it a try. All right, next station is a single arm chest press. This one's pretty straightforward. All right, I don't know the best way to lay. Okay, come on down to the floor. We only need 1 dumbbell because we're doing 1 arm at a time. Okay, so take that elbow straight out to the side, but then kind of dip it down just a little bit, and then you have a more safe angle on your shoulder. When we do chest presses, we never want that elbow straight out to the side. See that a lot. And that's not the safest angle on your shoulder. So we actually do want to dip that elbow down just a little bit. And we're going to be doing a slow, controlled rep. You do want to bend your knees with your legs. Seems irrelevant, but actually that does offer some more support and especially lower back support. So you do want to bend your knees. And yeah, slow, controlled reps on this side. Halfway through the set, we're going to change sides. Just be very cautious when you pass that weight over to the other side. That's all. Just do it safely. Don't want to drop a weight here. So you do have to use a little, depending on the weight you have, the heavier you go with your dumbbell, the more you're going to have to engage your core muscles to stay nice and level. But to stay more grounded and to stay more stabilized, I want you to really focus on, while you're pressing this dumbbell up, you can't see anything, but drive your shoulder blade under yourself here. Drive that shoulder blade down into the floor. And really try to keep that shoulder blade just driven down into the floor. And what that's going to do, when you're done, put the weight down like this. What that's going to do is just offer much more shoulder stability and safety. When people do a chest press, oftentimes the shoulder is just too loose and it's kind of, the shoulder is going all over the place. We really want to stabilize the shoulder to isolate the chest muscles more, and driving that shoulder blade down into the floor or the bench if you're lying on a bench is one way to do that. And speaking of a bench, for any of our participants not doing floor exercises, the coaches will wheel in an incline bench, and that's going to be our alternative. So you can do the same thing on one of our incline benches, 1 arm at a time, all the same stuff. All right, station 3 is a step up with a knee drive, okay? So obviously you can pick the height that's appropriate for you for your step up. And if needed, you can definitely place your hand on something for balance so your coach can put your step near a wall or a rack if you would like some balance assistance there. We're going to change legs halfway through the set. So until then, the foot you start with is going to stay on the step. So this foot's not going to come down at all like this. So that's going to stay there. Going to step up. The knee drive is this, driving the knee up, right? Pretty self-explanatory. Get out of frame there. So this leg again stays here all together. It looks like this. As soon as this foot comes to the floor, it goes right back up. I do want you to attempt a little 1 second pause with the knee up in the air. And that really just, first of all, solidifies the balance. And it also helps you to slow the movement down so it doesn't become this sort of momentum-y, sloppy mess. So it adds a lot of control. Again, so a little pause. And if you don't do that, it kind of can just become this like sloppy mess and you get going a little too quick. So that's why the pause is very important. So that is our step up the knee drive. Again, change legs halfway through the set. We have a lot of things changing halfway through, so the coaches will be calling that halfway point out for you. Last station for circuit 1 is a slow negative overhead press. The negative of an overhead press is the way down. Positive is the way up. It has to do with the eccentric and the concentric parts of the movement. So you're going to press up normal speed, and then we're trying to release it down on about a 3 to 4 second count. And then once you get to the bottom, normal speed up, 3 to 4 seconds down, keeping good control. Okay, so a couple things to keep in mind here. Don't bring the weights too low. So don't let them come too much past here about your jawline. So don't let them come like way down here. Don't try really hard not to lean back. So we're trying hard not to do this. Okay, so in order to do that, it's core strength, abs, engage your abs, kind of tuck. So if you have this overly arched back, you're leaning, tuck your pelvis under, okay, to help straighten out that arch in your back. You can also use a staggered stance to help too. So you can stagger your stance like this, favor your front leg, use that back leg to sort of push your weight to your front leg, and that can help to avoid that urge to want to lean back as well. Anyway, you get the gist. So normal speed on the way up, 3 to 4 seconds on the way down. You might want to choose a weight slightly lighter than maybe your standard weight for an overhead press, because when we rep out normal speed, we tend to use a little bit of momentum. When we take out that momentum, sometimes the weights can feel a little bit heavier. So think about what weights you're choosing, but let's give this a try. All right, moving on to circuit 2. The first station for circuit 2 is a dumbbell Romanian deadlift, or a dumbbell RDL. We do these quite often, but really deadlifts are one of the best exercises you can do. So we do toss them in quite a bit. And I know many of you are getting pretty heavy on your dumbbell RDLs. So one dumbbell in each hand. I know for those of you who've been with us for a long time, all of these cue reminders for the deadlifts are probably getting very repetitive, but it's always good to be reminded, right? So for dumbbells, as opposed to having a kettlebell, right? Dumbbells, the weights are kind of kitty corner on the thighs, so we don't want them directly in front because we don't want to be rounding those shoulders in, but we don't want them directly on the sides. So kind of just a nice medium in the middle. Soft bend in the knees, very soft. We want to hinge at the hips. In order to do that, we pop those hips back. So we're not simply leaning forward. We're actually, as you hinge at your hips, that's what makes your body come forward and down. Okay? You want to keep a very flat back as those hands draw right down the fronts of the thighs and then below the knees onto the shins. The back is the key here, though. See how my back's staying nice and flat? As opposed to rounding like this. So that's what you want to keep your eye on in the mirror. It's okay to do these in front of a mirror. It's actually preferred. So you can definitely watch your form at all times. All you have to do to fix that rounded back, if you have it, take those shoulders, bring them back and down. It almost just naturally fixes that rounded back. But I know, like I said, many of you with us have been doing these for a very, very long time, and they've been looking wonderful. And I know many of you have been getting nice and heavy on these weights. You can go nice and heavy on RDLs, because they use some of our biggest, strongest muscles in our body, our entire posterior chain, everything from the upper back to middle back, lower back, glutes, hamstrings. So anyways, we're gonna toss these in again this week. Give them a try. Next station, TRX row. Nothing fancy this week. Standard row with the hands in a neutral position. We can do underhand, overhand, wide, just in a standard row this week. So neutral position is just your wrists straight like this. Nothing fancy. Okay. Just a couple of cue reminders, however. The lower you walk your feet down, 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 the harder this becomes because you're fighting more gravity. So to make it a little lighter, you're going to step higher and higher. What was I going to say? As you pull up, stop when you feel that the tension would start to release from the TRX. What I mean by that is don't come up so high where now there's no more tension. There's slack on the TRX. So don't let that happen. So I'm going to stop right here while I know there's still tension. Very important. No flinging or coming up so fast that I'm flinging like that. So always slow and controlled. Keep your body still. Well, not still, because obviously I'm moving. Keep your hips level at all times. So I'm not letting my hips dip and thrust. So there's no hip movement at any time during a TRX row. Your hips are locked in. I'm stiff as a board, right? So again, when I come down, I'm not letting my hips fall. And then when I come up, I'm not letting my hips thrust. So your lower back should never be wavering. And this is a back exercise. So you're gonna feel your arms because your arms are the tool. You're holding on with your arms. There's no way to avoid that. But I want you to forget the arms, just ignore them. And it's, a row is a back exercise. So I want you to think about your back at all times. And you're coming up, squeezing your shoulder blades together. So when you come up with each rep, if you're kind of watching here between my back, squeeze those shoulder blades together every time you pull up. Hopefully, even with my zip up on, you can see I was squeezing those shoulder blades together. So that's where the magic is. That's the targeted muscles. Yes, again, you're going to feel your grip muscles, your forearm, your bicep. You're going to feel all those because you can't help it because you're holding on and pulling with your arms. But a row is a back exercise. It's not an arm exercise. So see if you can ignore the arm things happening and really just continue focusing on that back. So that's our TRX row. All right, we got a half kneel, single arm curl. Come down in one of our half kneel positions. The side that you're kneeling on, that's the side you're gonna curl with. And I think all of our regular participants know this is my favorite kind of curl. And why is that? Because if you keep your palm forward at all times, you have to kind of hold your arm out at this weird angle to accommodate the bell down here. And I think that's weird. I don't like that because it kind of forces like an overly supinated grip. You're kind of turning your arm out. And then if you keep your arm in front of you to avoid that, then you're pulling your arm inward awkwardly. I just don't like any of that. I don't think it's a good alignment. So I like to do this kind. Turn your palm in. It's nice and comfortable. Your arm is going to hang straight down. Then as you curl up, then you're going to turn the palm in so you get that nice full bicep squeeze at the top. And it should all be nice and fluid. Just watch a couple of my reps here. So yeah, halfway through the set, you can just do a nice, quick, easy switch to the other side. Important to keep in mind with any sort of curl, no matter what variety you're doing, it's controlled and tight though. Meaning we're never like letting it swing at the bottom. You know, none of this. When you're curling up, never kind of jerking. If you're having to do this, the weight's too heavy. So you have to pick a different weight. Another good indicator that bicep weight is too heavy is if you're maybe you're not jerking it like I just did, but if you're needing to kick your elbow out first, probably not that much, but I'm just making a point. If you're having to kind of shrug and kick your elbow out, the weight's also too heavy. You should be able to keep that elbow in to your side and just use that bicep muscle, not any like shrugging. So keep all that in mind. If you're having to do any of those things, the weight's maybe a little too heavy, so maybe go to the next set down. Anyone staying off of the knees, you're going to come up and do a staggered stance. We still want to get the stability components. That's what the half kneeling is all about, among a few other reasons. But So if we're unable to kneel on the floor, totally fine. But we want to still try to attempt a soft bent knee staggered stance like this. So yours would look like this. Okay. All right. That's our half kneel curl. All right. Last station, Superman with a lat pull. So the band is going to be anchored to something ahead of you, lying on your stomach. Superman is always lying on your stomach. Okay. You want the band to be just minimal tension with the arms in the starting position. Okay, and we're gonna lift. We haven't done this for a while, but we used to do it a lot more for some reason. Lift and then do a lat pull. So I'm pulling the elbows back and then down and release. Lift into your Superman pull, down and release. One thing I see a lot is just the pull being a little bit incorrect, and I want to talk about that really quick. I see a lot of a pull with like coming down here with the elbow up high, but the hand down here. We always want the elbow. We want everything to remain parallel to the floor. So the hand, forearm, and elbow is all. See how it's all parallel to the floor? Not like this. Let me show you a few of what I mean. This is what I see a lot. Elbow flaring up high, hand kind of coming down like this. So that's what we want to correct. Instead, to properly engage the lat muscles in your back, hand is going to remain in line with the elbow. And the hand, forearm, and elbow are all pretty much parallel to the floor. So a big difference between this and this, right? There are some varieties to do for anyone staying off the floor. I'm going to grab a stability ball and show that. And one option, if you're unable to do our get onto the floor, is a stability ball for a variety with the band. You'll want one of the bigger stability balls, however. So if you need one of the larger size ones, you're gonna put your arms through the handles of the band like this. Okay. Gonna roll onto the ball. On your stomach, come forward like this. Oh, this is really comfortable. Okay, you gotta brace yourself with your feet. See how I'm kind of digging my toes in. So you're gonna lift like a Superman and do the band pull. It's just a trickier one, so understand. So I'm gonna lift my upper body just a little bit and get this band pull. Lift and pull. Lift and pull. So I'm still getting that like Superman lift with my upper body, and I'm still getting the lat pull. It is pretty tricksy, I'm not gonna lie. So this would be a great. It's funny that it's kind of an alternative for the floor if someone maybe can't get to the floor for like a broken foot or a broken ankle or broken knee. But this version of this exercise with the ball is actually relatively advanced. So it's weird that it's an alternative for the floor. But there is another alternative to both of these, which is using an incline bench. And let me show you that one. So this version has an incline bench, so it's much more stable and than the ball. So you can start kind of straddling it, lean forward on it. Still got your band. Ugh. And I think I have the right angle. There we go. So forward straddle on it. Got your band. Band is kind of out in front of you. Just gonna do a little bit of a lift. That's the Superman part. Just a little bit. As you do that, we're gonna do that lat pull. So I'm still getting, and I'm pulling apart and in. Pull it right to the upper chest, right to here. So I'm still getting the Superman part, like the lower back part of the lift. Lifting that upper body up is getting the mid and lower back. And then the lat pull is getting the rear delts and the lats and more of the upper back. Ooh, lots of options for this last one, but something for everybody. All right, team builder time. Haven't done this one for a while. We've done it, but might be new for some of you. Team builder, it's a single leg sword fight. And we don't have real swords, and that would be a little bit dangerous. So we're going to use foam rollers. Okay, so you're going to partner up, pair up, and you're all going to have your foam roller. Going to balance on one leg. And I don't have a partner because I'm just I'm all by myself. So you'd be my partner, and I'm gonna, you're gonna hit each other, not each other, the foam rollers. Kind of go at it like this with the foam rollers and see who either knocks the foam roller out of the other person's hand or makes their partner have to put their foot down. We don't want to make anyone fall to the floor. That is not the goal. But you know, if I had to like kind of stumble and put my foot down, that's what we're going for here. It's all in fun. We're going to do about 30 seconds or so, whatever you got time for, on each foot. So pick a leg, start there, 30 seconds. See how many times your partner has to put their foot down, and then yeah, 30 seconds on each leg. So it's super fun. Have fun with it, get creative. And yeah, that's our team builder for the week. Okay, everybody. Well, that's week 21. I hope you enjoy some of those new moves. And of course, the team builder, a lot of fun this week. See you back next week, week 22.